On the news, Kano Court upholds Ganduje's suspension as APC chairman. Vice President Shettima to declare open Faith Leaders Summit on Nutrition, April 23. And federal government vows clamp down on traders inflating commodity prices. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I'm Simi Salatiku. There is more trouble for the national chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Umar Ganduje, as the Kano State High Court has issued an ex parte order affirming his suspension as leader of the party. Justice Usman Malam Naaba, presiding over the court, granted the order in response to an ex parte motion filed by two executive members of the APC from the Ganduje ward, Laminu Sani and Haladu Gwanjo. The motion, filed on behalf of the ward, sought the suspension of the APC chairman, alleging misconduct and breaches of party regulations. The court's ruling mandated Ganduje to cease all activities associated with his position as the national chairman of the APC, effectively halting his involvement in the affairs of the National Working Committee. Meanwhile, members of the Ward of Executives of Ganduje have paid him a solidarity visit at the national headquarters of the party, pledging their support for the national chairman and saying they never at any time suspended him. Reacting to the court order, Ganduje, who addressed newsmen at a press conference, says he believes that what happened so far is mere propaganda.
We have heard your complaint. Your complaint is that you have disassociated yourself from that false claim. And in addition to that, you are appealing to us. We take appropriate legal action according to the rule of law. This is very vital. This is a new phenomenon in democracy. It's a new destructive phenomenon which should not be allowed to thrive. If a political party, an opposing political party, can just gather people from motorbike and claim that they are executive members of another political party, I think this new dimension, this new destruction should be checked by the security agencies and even the judiciary. So we assure you, will not allow those saboteurs, those fake APC politicians to go free like that.
In a bid to promote ease of import and export trade in the country, President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated a committee for a national single window. Tinubu revealed this during the inauguration of the National Steering Committee of the project on Tuesday at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. According to him, the introduction of the National Single Window project is set to enhance integration at both national and regional levels. This report has details. The National Single Window Project is a cross-government initiative that aims to simplify trade processes, unlock economic potential, and position Nigeria as a global trade leader. The project will create a single digital platform that links ports, government agencies, and stakeholders, enabling a seamless and efficient trade ecosystem. The president assures the project will simplify the processes of importation and exportation in the country by eliminating the need to interact with various agencies across multiple locations to secure the required documents, permits, and clearance.
The National Single Window is not just about Nigeria. By linking our system with those of other African nations, we will expedite cargo movement and optimize inter-Africa trade. This initiative is a testament to our commitment to regional integration and our belief in the power of collaboration.
On his part, Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, who is also the head of the steering committee, mentioned that Nigeria could achieve an annual growth rate of over 7% in gross domestic product by implementing the NSW. He added that the initiative would foster collaboration and information sharing among different stakeholders in the import and export sectors.
Delay and inefficiency at our port has been constant burden. It is estimated that a staggering $4 billion annually is lost due to this inefficiency. By addressing revenue leakage prevention and facilitating effective trade, we will reclaim these lost resources and channel them towards the betterment of our society.
The implementation of this project will result into improved efficiencies in our import processes by providing real-time data and reducing the lead time to clear goods at the port, which in turn will result in the reduction of congestion at our ports. The single window project will cover both oil and non-oil exports. For oil exports, this project will help to provide real-time tracking, improve data transparency, and reduce the requirement of pre-shipment inspections. The steering committee inaugurated today by His Excellency will provide support, oversight, strategic direction, and guidance for the project team, and ensure the effective and timely completion of the project.
The National Single Window Steering Committee, which includes representatives from various government agencies and ministries, has set a target of 24-hour port clearance, significantly faster than the 72 to 48-hour range in neighboring countries. Simisola Adigun, TV360 News. President Bola Tinubu once again has assured he will improve the socio-economic situation in the country, build sustainable growth, and advance peace and prosperity of the country. The president gave the assurance when he met with leaders of the Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural Group, Afenifere, in Abuja on Wednesday. According to the president, it is necessary to tap the wealth of experience of reputable groups, including the socio-cultural and professional groups.
The case of Kuriga and many other, kidnapped children is evident in the way we rescue them from Sokoto to Katsina to Kaduna and others, now more expeditiously than ever before. We are working hard on intelligent gathering and execution of our programs. Those that might thought they can threaten the sovereignty of this country will have themselves to blame. They have a price to pay. And we are not going to relent in that area. We have the solid mirror that has attracted a lot of insecurities, scavenging, and others. Then we have special forces that is facing that now. We will have an effective forest guards that will be, fully in control of our forests in the country.
Afenifere is in support of the campaign of for state police. We believe this will enhance the security of life and property. We also want Your Excellency to look at the command structure of federal security agencies to ensure equity and justice in the posting and deployment of senior officers. Equity should also reflect in the recruitment of security personnel from the bottom up. It is not good for the future of our country if one section or a few sections of the country have some of the security agencies, as it were, in their pockets. Employment. Unemployment has become a big burden for our country, where we have more than 70% of the population below the age of 30. We would like to appeal that federal government capital projects, including road projects, should be geared towards creating employment.
Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima will on Tuesday, April 23, declare open the Summit of Faith Leaders on Nutrition in Nigeria. The one-day summit, billed to hold at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa Abuja, is being organized by the Office of the Vice President in collaboration with the National Council on Nutrition and the Accelerating Nutrition Results in Nigeria project. The high-level dialogue with the theme Faith Leaders as Catalyst for Enhanced Human Capital Through Nutrition aims to define sustainable pathways for improving maternal, infant and young child nutrition practices in Nigeria. The Center for Citizens with Disabilities, CCD, has called for an enabling environment for persons with disabilities in the society to help them get easier access to justice. The group, while making the call during a one-day training for justice service providers in Lagos, advocated a more inclusive, equitable and accessible justice system for PWDs in Lagos State. Our correspondent, Comfort Samuel, has more on the story.
Persons with disabilities face significant challenges in accessing justice, including criminal proceedings and the determination of civil rights and obligations. These obstacles include denial of their legal standing and due process guarantees and the inaccessibility of the physical and communication environment during proceedings. The Center for Citizens with Disabilities organized this forum to address some of the challenges. It's a training session for judicial service providers in Lagos to enlighten them on some of the challenges faced by persons with disabilities in their quest to use the legal system and how to address them. The group asked that particular attention be paid to the protection of persons with disabilities in facilities, which should be regularly monitored by national preventive mechanisms and human rights institutions to initiate inquiries and investigations into exploitation, violence, or abuse.
To know that the objective of this project is to bring to our understanding the provisions cutting across the state and at the national level, being the Lagos State Special People's Law and the National Disability Act, the provisions that are centered on enhancing access to justice.
We want to just sensitize them on what barriers persons with disabilities are facing in accessing justice. And with this sensitization, it will help them to be able to offer solutions when it comes to access to justice for persons with disabilities. With this sensitization program, they'll be able to understand the barrier they face and how they can help them in enhancing access to justice.
Either the courts or the office of the public defender or any of the places around is a very, very big challenge. Person with albinism, for instance, even to do the documentation, when the system offers you tiny prints, for somebody with low vision, that is a major, major problem. And all these factors are not put into place for persons with disability.
On her part, the Assistant Director of the Office of the Public Defender, OPD, informed the gathering that the OPD office is open for the vulnerable to help them get justice, noting that the office believes in fighting for the vulnerable. Other speakers at the session say if the right policies are put in place, it will help people with special needs get the justice they deserve.
It's part of our core mandate, actually, not just for the training. It's our core mandate to assess people with disability. We do rescue missions, we save them. They are vulnerables. And my office is we are at the front burner of indigents and vulnerable.
It's a policy thing. It's not, my idea, why I say it's policy is because they are not put in place to design their own laws, their own ways of needs or ways of doing things for themselves. I mean, the person who wears the shoe knows where he or she feels the pain.
The CCD appealed to the president to uphold his commitment to fairness, equity and justice for all Nigerians, including persons with disabilities, as the mandates remain leave no one behind. Comfort Samuel, TV 360 News, Lagos.
Amid the ongoing flight ticket war between Air Peace and foreign airlines in the country, the National Civil Society Council of Nigeria has urged President Bola Tinubu to issue an executive order requiring government officials to fly Air Peace for international travel. Representing more than 500 civil groups and NGOs, the executive director of NCSCN, Blessing Akinlosotu, urged the federal government and Nigerians to support Air Peace and other indigenous airlines. The group called for measures such as tax waivers, executive orders mandating government officials to fly Nigerian brands, and streamlining bureaucratic processes to favor local carriers.
The foreign airline are now into dangerous battle for market share that is capable of throwing smaller operators out of business, while negatively affecting their profit margin. All these are aimed particularly at jeopardizing the existence of Air Peace and other smaller indigenous operators considering venturing into that route. Many airlines are today forced to lure passengers to book for economy class seats on the Lagos-London route with 907,782 naira fare as against the up to 4 million for the economy they charged before now. British Airways have been forced to slash its fare on the Abuja-London Heathrow to 1,394,536 naira as against the over 3 million it was formerly charging. The federal government and all well-meaning Nigeria must rise up to save our most patriotic and progressive indigenous operator, Air Peace, and other well-meaning indigenous airline from these international aeropolitics and pricing warfare by foreign airlines who are seriously threatened by the rising profile and business strategy of the Nigerian operator with impressive global record of flight operation between Nigeria and other countries.
We'll take a break here, but coming up, Golden Eaglets coach Manu Garba invites 51 players to camp ahead of the 2024 WAFU B Under-17 tournament. Stay with us for details. We'll return shortly. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. There is more trouble for the national chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress, Umar Ganduje, as the Kano State High Court has issued an ex parte order affirming his suspension as leader of the party. Justice Usman Malam Naaba, presiding over the court, granted the order in response to an ex parte motion filed by two executive members of the APC from the Ganduje ward, Laminu Sani and Haladu Gwanjo. Reacting to the court order, Ganduje, who addressed these men at a press conference, described his suspension as mere propaganda. We also told you that Vice President Kashim Shettima will on Tuesday, April 23, declare open the Summit of Faith Leaders on Nutrition in Nigeria. The high-level dialogue with the theme Faith Leaders as Catalysts for Enhanced Human Capital Through Nutrition aims to define sustainable pathways for improving maternal, infant and young child nutrition practices in Nigeria. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store on Facebook or at TV360 online. Well, let's join Okwayemi Owosheni for latest happenings in the world of business. Over to you, Okwayemi.
And welcome to Business News. The federal government says Nigeria stands to benefit about $2.7 billion annually by implementing the Single Window Project. Briefing State House correspondent after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu on Monday, Managing Director of the Nigerian Port Authority, Bello Koko, disclosed the new Digital Trade Compliance Initiative would expedite cargo movement and optimize inter-African trade. Koko said key shipment details such as type, year of manufacture, Form M, and cargo weight, among others, will be unified for seamless sharing across government agencies.
It will also reduce the number or the amount of forms that importers, exporters, and stakeholders need to fill up. Currently, probably in a transaction, there are between 40 or so forms that you need to fill for various government agencies. So this is a platform that will enable you fill a few forms, reduce those forms to minimal possible numbers. And then, like you said, the payment system is easy. You make a payment and then it is disbursed to various beneficiaries of those payments. This is to improve ease of doing business, actually. For clearance, the target is actually 24 hours. Of course, we know what is obtainable in neighboring countries is 72 to 48, but the target is actually 24 hours. As for the number of forms, if you are filling 20, 30, 40 printed forms, and now digitally you are filling a form that has 2, 3, 4 pages, you can see what we are working towards. It's just, so let me give you an example. You fill a form that has information that probably customs, you are bringing a product. What customs is interested in is the type, the year of manufacture, and so on and so forth. But they also need the MF number, the Form M number, and what have you. The Nigerian Port Authority is interested in the weight of the cargo. But you are filling different forms with the MF number that both of us also need. So we are trying to unify this information in such a way that you fill as little as possible, and all related government agencies that need information to, that are in the value chain of import or export processing should be able to pick the information they need from there.
Still on business, the federal government has vowed to take stringent regulatory measures against traders unfairly inflating prices of goods and commodities. The government through its agency, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, expressed worry that despite the recent appreciation of the naira against the dollar, consumers continue to face escalating costs without a corresponding decrease in prices of goods and commodities. The commission said its operatives have been directed to intensify monitoring of both formal and informal markets, where businesses may be taking advantage of market conditions to unfairly inflate prices and ramp up enforcement activities. We'll go on a break now and be back with Stock Market Report. Nigeria's equities market recorded its first week of the win on Wednesday, April 17th, increasing slightly by 0.1%, with the market cap at 56.51 trillion naira. Now, Ikeja Hotel led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, closing at 7 naira 26 kobo per share, followed closely by Fidelity Bank, which closed at 8 naira 90 kobo per share. Now, at the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 322 million volumes of shares were exchanged in 9,074 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 5 billion. Now, compared to the previous NGX trading day, despite the win recorded today, today's data shows 20% decline in turnover, 31% decline in volume, and 11% decline in deals. But let's take a switch to our select global stocks to see how they are doing today. Well, U.S. stocks on Wednesday reversed earlier gains as crude prices drop and investors weighed cautions on U.S. Federal Reserve commentary and ongoing geopolitical strife against mixed quarterly earnings. Well, this aided U.S. Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei southward movement as they ended in the bears, with the U.S. Dow Jones at 0.34% and Japan's Nikkei at 0.74%. Reverse is the case, however, for the UK FTSE as it maintained a northward progression and ended in the bulls at 0.35%. Well, that's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simisala, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Okoyemi. On the foreign scene, a European Court of Justice has ruled that the name of late Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar cannot be registered as an EU trademark after his brother tried to lay a claim. On Wednesday, the EU General Court in Luxembourg ruled that the name is associated with drug trafficking and narco-terrorism and with the crimes and suffering resulting from them and should not be given protection under intellectual property laws. The court upheld the decision of the EU's Intellectual Property Office that refused the trademark application by Escobar Incorporated, which was founded in Puerto Rico by Pablo Escobar's brother, Roberto de Jesus Escobar Gaviria, who spent 12 years in prison for his role in his brother's criminal organization. Still on foreign scene, hundreds of Myanmar troops have abandoned their posts and crossed to Bangladesh in February amid intensifying clashes between the junta and an ethnic minority army. Bangladeshi border agency officials revealed this on Wednesday. Fighting between Myanmar's military-controlled government forces and insurgents in Rakhine and Chin states began in late October 2023 with a multi-pronged offensive against the junta, which took over the country in early 2021. Since then, the ethnic Arakan army has been locked in fierce battles against the Myanmar armed forces and border police in the two states bordering Bangladesh. And on sports, barely 1 month to the 2024 WAFU B Under-17 tournament in Ghana, the Golden Eaglets coach Amanu Garba has disclosed he has invited 51 players to camp ahead of the tournament, which will be played from May 15 to 29 in Accra, Ghana. The coach hinted that the team's camp would open on Wednesday for the WAFU tournament, which serves as qualifiers for next year's Under-17 AFCON. Garba, who was appointed by the Nigeria Football Federation as the substantive coach of the team last Friday, had previously led the team to Nigeria's fourth Under-17 World Cup triumph in the United Arab Emirates in 2013. Still on sports, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, is set to scrap its second-tier club competition, the Confederation Cup, according to reports. CAF introduced the new competition, the African Football League, last year. The African Football League, which started with 8 teams, will now be expanded to include more teams. The CAF Champions League will take the place of the CAF Confederation Cup as Africa's second-tier club competition, and the winner of the Africa Football League will now be representing the continent in the FIFA Club World Cup. Well, that's all on News Now. Many thanks for watching. See you next time.